We have Alex in the chat. We have Amy in the chat. Rebecca. Okay. And then as soon as, oh, he's just setting everything up. And you know who one of those guests are. And here we go. Hi.
Hello.
And that is an entrance.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you like the event? What, with everything that I explained, what would you say was your experience?
My experience was that I was shocked that this was the first time that I had ever actually been in part of a protest for everything that happened to us. That was almost as a shock to be on the flip side and to understand how many years has it taken us to go to the sidewalk of one of these hotels. Like decades of fear, decades of feeling that we were not worthy to have our own voices and to be heard, and that we were not worthy of having any problems, or even everything that you were saying, Liz, like, $40 is not a wage. It's just unthinkable. And it's like, doesn't matter how many corrupt attorneys you can gather to write a crooked contract where the end user is going to be completely screwed over. And it's like, why are those contracts still a thing? How can that be so okay with everybody? That people are being put into these things. And as you know, like, it's just so many layers of deception, and it's corruption on corruption on corruption. I mean, as if the beginning of our protest was not already utterly corrupted by those LAPD people that did take it upon themselves to come and arrest our one security guard. It's like, it's very rich of these people that took us inside those hotels when we were minors, unable to consent to what they were pitching. You guys, it's very simple. This is not a complicated, let's all think about it for a million years to make sure we get it right. Children can consent, and it just doesn't get any more simple than that. So those are some immediate thoughts.
Okay. Someone just said here. Okay. All right. You talk real quick. If you can explain some of the interviews that you had, I'm going to reach out to someone.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, I had an interview with Kendra Blanco. And Kendra Blanco was another one of these kids that grew up right across of this hotel. Kendra's mom was not a wealthy woman, and she ended up sacrificing everything she had to that disgusting Celebrity Center hotel. And including Kendra, because she was signed up to be part of the Sea Org, you guys. Kendra Blanco. So what is going on in front of Celebrity Center, and the reason that Celebrity Center is one of the major, most prominent building where the trafficking gets done, where the celebrities are lured. They're literally lured and told, oh yeah, come over here. We're really going to help you with your career. It's really in your benefit. Let's see what we can help you in. And all these celebrities have been honeycombed into the hotels, you guys. These people do help them in their careers. It's not like, oh, nobody helped. No. Once any celebrity is coming inside of that hotel, they are now gaining access to Elizabeth Moss's people and, you know, Johnny Ravisi's people and Tom Cruise's people and whoever else is in that orbit. They're seeing how they can help and how they can, like, so there's all manner of bad actors involved in this scheme. And unfortunately, the fact that the whole scheme is run on the back of child slaves and the elderly, the very two groups that need the advocacy because they cannot speak for themselves.
No.
Once they become so elderly, they literally do not have the intellectual capacity to escape. And we've seen that with Mike Brown's mother, who literally had to be lasered, rescued, Operation Military Hostage, as if that's not already being done with Bob Ferris right now. You know,
Right.
never mind that, you know, unfortunately, the type of place he's in, there's literally no way in, you know.
Yeah, it's not like if we went to Gold and we screamed and we did all the things, because there's the birthing. So where we would be able to go, you have the front gate and then you have the birthing and then you have the birthing across the street. Main buildings are a good 100, 200 yards away. So you're talking about massive, loud voices to be able to get to those people.
Mhm.
Guess I'm gonna guess it's like 200 yards. I didn't have my glasses with me that day.
Well, and I mean, again, we are having to be, we can't get people out of those hotels necessarily. We're showing up there to make our cases heard. And one of the things that you just asked me is about interviewing and talking to other people. And especially on the heels of what the LAPD showed us, with full zero shame, you guys. The LAPD showed their hand fully, as if we already don't know that it's on the full record that the human trafficking lieutenant commander of the LAPD is besties with Marisol Nichols, an actress that was literally inside of those hotels for decades. Since the early 90s, Miss Nichols has been going inside of those hotels, getting helped by child slaves, helping on the recruitment, on the procurement of all of that. And you have like a very corrupt LAPD that we are like wondering what in the literal hell could be really going on with this LAPD to like literally not even care, to show up without even a care in the world, to give us back our security with scratches all over his hands, like they went even hard on him, as if that's going to intimidate. You know, it's all that's telling us is we better start hiring other LAPD people to then protect us, because we're scared of them. If they're willing to go that hard over something for those. Oh, Lara, you're having feedback. If they're willing to go so hard over something that like corrupt in front of our eyes, then what? What are we really dealing with? What kind of justice are we expecting be done if the enablers of the predators are in on it? Because that's what it's called. That's what corruption is called, being in on it. So
Yeah.
If I come in, I don't want it to feedback. Everything else is closed out?
Yep.
Cool.
Oh. Let me.
Here, I'm just on my mic. 1 second. Okay. Can you guys hear me better now? Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hi, guys. And yes, I've been listening the whole time. And then I was like, Liz is exhausted, faded, and her voice is shot.
Just a skosh. Like,
and I'm just chilling on my bed, like, what else do I need to clean today?
I know everybody's like, what are we going to do today? Vaboop or Vanessa did her live this morning.
Yep,
And
I
I'm
watched
like,
that.
how does she get lucky and still get to keep her voice? And I'm the one that sounds like, you know, Alana Moore. I sound like, oh God, what is that singer? The Come to My Window.
Yeah, I heard you earlier.
Melissa
Yeah,
Etheridge.
Melissa Etheridge. Come to my window. Yeah. So, but what
Yeah.
I was gonna say is, I came here really just to be supportive and talk about everything as well, like the arrest with Brian, who's an ex LAPD member. And I
Right.
even like look, I have them saved in my phone. I mean, I'm sure we all have the pictures now, and it was all on film. But me walking up even to that, it gave me this like, oh, they're doing that. I knew it right away what was going on, and then I was like, Brian's got this. He's not an idiot. He knows. Those are his brothers. Those are his brothers. They're being lied to by a very strong manipulative organization, telling them that he's swinging his gun around. He's like, no,
Right.
I
And
have
like,
a licensed firearm and I have it here for protective reasons. Correct. So, anyways, that was really good to be able to see that walking up and then going right to the police and being like, oh, thank you for being here, protecting and serving. Bye bye when you got to go. Like, because the real thing is the destruction of Scientology trying to destroy the safety net that people do have. That's the only safety we need is just protection when we're doing this.
yeah.
I mean, some of us, actually all of us do. I can be strong and say I don't need it, but that's not true. I love when Tommy Scope, all these people are there that are stronger physical men that can say, no, you can't touch her. You don't do that. The law says this. So having our back with somebody and then
Well,
having
you did really
Scientology
well with that
corrupt
guy
that.
that touched your sign this time,
Oh,
Laura.
I literally was like,
Literally, you literally imposed that boundary so quick. I was so proud of you. Like it, compared to what that other guy was able to get away with, and it's crazy that they're sending them to you. It'd be really, or you engage them more. Moreover,
well, the
but
first time I also felt triggered. Like I did feel like my heart did go, like I was like, what the fuck? Like, so my immediate reaction feeling wise to that guy was to immediately yell and be like, don't fucking touch me. Like an abuser. And then I immediately caught myself doing that. I'm like, you can't. So during this one, I was like, it was just so obvious. You touched my sign. Like, not, And I even saw it in his eyes, like, oh no. And I said, you are hired by Scientology. And you don't even know that you're not allowed to do that. You can get arrested. And the moment I said, I can get you arrested right now, he ran off. So that was really like, talk about Scientology trying to take the one safety net that we do happen to maybe need here or there.
Just a skosh.
Let's just try to get rid of that. Which, by the way, that he was back up there with us 30 minutes later with handcuff freaking bleeding marks on the sides because the officers were rough with him. And because when they do get a report like that, and I'm sure Scientology wasn't, not over exaggerating about it. They were very much over exaggerating and probably said some insane stuff that wasn't even happening. But either way, they're doing their job and they had to do that. He is an ex LAPD. They don't know that. They did later. So that was really horrible. But I'm so proud of Brian for being there and protecting us and for giving us that net and taking the shot, being like, I've got this. All right, boom, boom. And then being back out. That felt really good. And for us to just be like, again, losing our voices. It's like, this isn't just the protest. This is us healing ourselves because currently in this world, there is no greater therapy than to protect ourselves and to give ourselves back that strength that was stolen from us our whole childhood with no repercussions. Like nobody, they don't even say sorry. Like this is how horrible Scientology as an organization and as a machine is. They don't have the bones. They don't have any bones, but they don't have the bones to even understand the apology or to be able to get. So it's really good for us, I feel, as the children that were against all in this and against all of this weight all the time to be lifting it off and throwing it off with joy and anger and whatever emotions we're having at that time. So the arrest thing and everything. And then remember this guy who came by, he's running for Burbank mayor.
No, he is Burbank mayor and he's running again.
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
remember right.
So, yeah, and it was just like, okay, here you have a situation where the police and our current, system kind of did a full circle with all of us in our own eyes just during the whole thing, the police getting called by a false report from Scientology, then the police officers arresting somebody that used to be on their own thing. We used to be in the Sea Org doing the ethics interrogations and everything inside, controlling people. Oh, we'll make the phone call. Oh, we'll get hit by a picketer. They also used to call us picketers. So we have our own. A lot of people aren't aware of this, even though they know they're our community now and everything. A lot of people aren't aware of the constant PTSD kicking in every step. We're,
Well, they're pretending that
breathing
we're
and
aggressors, but we're
right.
advocates. We're
I
there
sound
showing up to those
aggressive, but I'm
sidewalks
absolutely
to
not.
be advocates, and we need to start calling on the LAPD, who has to, by now, after decades and decades and decades of dealing with these people, they need to start sharpening their brains, literally. Like, if you're getting those type of calls from Scientology, we're going to we're going to continue to show up to these protests. They're only going to get more and more. They're going to be happening also in Clearwater. And again, we are protesting, advocating for those inside of the hotels that have not a shred of a clue what in the hell's being done to them and have no way out. So when Scientology starts releasing all 21 and unders, which is our very first demand, 21 and under cannot consent to what is done and pitched in the hotels. Period. Full stop. This isn't up for debate. This isn't up for like, oh, let's let it. Extreme role plays minors cannot consent to. Those role plays that get done in those hotels, Scientology Celebrity Center, are unacceptable beyond. And we all had audits ourselves as kids. We know how disgusting it was, how unhinged they were. And again, just because your parents said you really should do it does not mean anything. It doesn't mean anything other than that kid has no advocate. Once your parent puts you in literally harm's way, you've lost your last sort of possible protection. And once they're having their way with you inside of that hotel room, you are literally being abused ad nauseum. Having not a shred of boundary as a child is unacceptable. And the fact that the LAPD apparently is not up to speed that any of these practices go on in those hotels. Apparently, the LAPD has not taken up on themselves to open up a book and go, oh, they say they lock you against your will. Is the auditor's code the line here where it says no one can leave the room on their own determinism? So there's a lot of corruption going on with the LAPD, and it shows us that we need to protect ourselves more, because apparently it's not just Scientology that is corrupt. Apparently enablers of these people are also in on the corruption.
Yeah, I want to add to the oh shit, you were just saying something about the kids and being auditing. So I was going to say there's I'm starting to see, I just started noticing myself thinking this or seeing this. Every single policy letter that or whatever, anything that L. Ron Hubbard has ever written contradicts itself. Children are in small bodies, but yet we could get spanked because we were acting like children. You know what I mean? So things like that. And yet, you can't report anything to the law, get it all off in session. This is a private confidential thing, but yet if you ever leave us, it's no longer private confidential thing. We're going to give out all your information. Completely illegal. Recording everything, doing all that. There's so many things that I would say almost all of L. Ron Hubbard's policies of how to dismantle or how to operate are completely illegal, whether it has to do with how children are to behave and act and be, or how the abuser, the auditor, the interrogate is to treat and act the child. Or so either way, it's just, yeah. I was just thinking about that. Like, I'm starting to see that like keeping Scientology. How are you going to clear a planet for real? Scientology people out there. The goal of Scientology, of the Sea Org, is to clear the planet, right? Before,
Yeah.
that's why we signed these billion-year contracts.
Because we can
Okay,
save the world.
50% of the world right now already cannot be cleared because they're either on psych medication or they're mentally ill, and Scientology can't help the mentally ill. They're not here to do that. You can't clear that. So, and then the other thing is, I would even say 75% of the world, maybe that's horrible, but are on some kind of medication, marijuana, drug, something that
But the
you
point
can't
here,
get
Lara,
auditing.
though, the point here is, again, going back to this clearing the planet. You cannot be purporting to be helping somebody if you're dehumanizing them. There is just no logical explanation for that level of dehumanization that we have seen. And exposing kids to being dehumanized is just unthinkable. And this is happening. It's happening right now. It was happening as we were talking outside of those hotels, as we were protesting. How many kids were being exposed to, oh yeah, let's make you an auditor, as if we don't have current receipts right now from Reese that's exposing everything that's been spoken about in that Facebook group of moms of Scientology, telling us how they are taking their 7-year-olds in session today. Again, and going back to your point, Lara, it's like the power dynamic imbalance is so indefensible. No one can make a case that the power dynamic inside of sessions is acceptable between an adult and a child. No one can make that case. All the L. Ron Hubbard memos were being used, like to your point, Laura, everything contradicts itself, but yet everything officiates itself, because as long as you're really following every single line of the thing, then you really should be protected. And again, it's like, in what world is following the rhetoric of a convicted felon going to be protecting you from not breaking the law? Because we would really like to understand that from all of the Scientology attorneys, that they can really start typing some memos that make sense to explain why these practices are being literally perpetrated on minors that do not have the level of consent to what's going to be made of them once they are literally grabbed by these people that completed a 2-week course. And again, that's dangerous. Like, the people that were dealing with us, they had not a clue what in the hell they were doing, because no one that does a 2-week course gets that level of access to a human, period. There's just no example where, oh yeah, 2 weeks and then have at
You're
it.
a therapist. Congratulations.
But no, they definitely don't call it a therapist. But yeah, I know what you mean, Liz. But also, the whole thing about the whole lie of even like Gold Base and the executive strata of Scientology even being a respectful hierarchy for the lower people who don't know stuff or whatever to look up to. And you go to Gold and it's like a fucking extreme jail, like so
like the way they live, the way
you literally would find kids building e-meters in 1990. You would have been seeing children at Gold Base, crews of them soldering the e-meters.
And that's why, the LAPD is being called upon to be like, explain child trafficking to us then. If being there as a minor, being made to build e-meters for these people to interrogate people at hotels, if that is not child trafficking, then what in the literal hell are y'all calling child trafficking? Because nothing is adding up whatsoever. And that's when we know we're being lied to, we're being manipulated. We're being told that, yes, the LAPD can do this, the LAPD can do that, the LAPD is going to, oh yeah, really don't use a microphone because that's really, really very bad to do because they are a church. Did you miss the part where they locked us up inside of those rooms against our wills as children and were made to build e-meters? Did you all miss that part? Because again, it's like they're telling us that we can't use a microphone, as if we know they're doing this to children right now. We're not just showing up. I mean, I told several protesters, Lara, if there were no children in there, I wouldn't ever speak of the subject again. It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. It's such an insult to our intelligence. Like, nothing made sense. It's all pathetic. It's all just pathetic lies, clownery from hell. And whoever wants to defend it and really say L. Ron Hubbard was a genius, then go look in the mirror and pitch that to yourself again.
Yeah, because who's going to really sit there and say this man's a genius when a child is assaulted, a woman's assaulted, and then guess what? They have to go over the assault over and over and over and over. And then it's not the person that assaulted her's fault, it's her fault because she pulled it in. She did something to pull this in. She was out of ethics somehow. And because of this, it forced that person to do that. Who grows up like that?
Well, disgusting, psychopathic, entitled narcissist that studied L. Ron Hubbard and gave themselves entitlement to do whatever in the hell they felt like doing, as long as it was written somehow in those memos. All the behavior was those memos ad nauseum. Are you following the reference? Are you following this? Are you really doing that? And that helps these people because at least they can be like, well, it wasn't my disgusting idea. Never mind, they implemented the idea. So at what point can we start divorcing people from their actions that they did for 40 years? Like, I'm sorry, like you followed L. Ron Hubbard to the letter for 40 years. You have a problem. I'm sorry, like you were turned into an L. Ron Hubbard and you were an adult. You consented, you full knowing did this. And then you watched all the kids be there. And then you're still crickets about having abused ever a child. Or like you said, Lara, going and saying, I'm sorry, I did this to children. Like, that's what y'all should be apologizing for. Literally, like, I'm sorry I did this to kids. Other
and
adults
if you and
consented.
maybe here's something I would even add to that. Maybe they can't apologize. Maybe they don't see that they did it.
Well, apologies are also
Start by
fruitless because
accepting what you did.
show us the money, like they used to tell to us. Show us the ethics change in the physical universe.
Right,
How are you
actions.
guys actually showing us that you did find out you did something wrong, that you can take accountability, that this moment in time in 2023 calls for accountability from all Scientology parents as a collective. Were you in Scientology? Are you out of Scientology? Were you, exposing your kids to Scientology? You're all in the same bucket. Doesn't matter. Oh, but I only did it for 3 years. I did expose my kid this much. Well, you know what? If you expose your kid at all, consider yourself part of that bucket. You're all in the same place. You put Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard's disgusting ideas onto your kids. You cannot defend it. You used each other to pretend it was normal. You normalized it as a collective. That's why this worked. That's why these hotels are still operating because, apparently all the parents inside of those hotels today still see nothing wrong at all. Not one red flag is in those hotels, is what we're being told. Everything is done so standardly that nothing raises a red flag. Well, the fact that everything is done so standardly is what raises the MF red flag, you guys, because...
Like, to me, I'm like, how does the police officer... I really was thinking this when I was talking to them and just saying, look, you guys are wasting your time. I was thinking, how does a police officer... Like, come on. Who is the supervisor of this freaking squad, right? And who's not smart enough to go, okay, yes, this could be a false report. Like, especially from Scientology, by this person that they could have looked up right away because Scientology already knows who Brian is. They've already spoken to his security guards at the last protest. So it's really intentional. And I just feel like the police officers need to sharpen their brains there. That's where it's like, come on, like your job is your job, but your job is also 100% common sense. And if somebody's doing that, why are you slamming somebody handcuffed? Like, and where's the ticket back to the science? Like, you know what I mean? There's just so much like in our own ethics and justice system. Scientology is not being put in check in any single way. Yet we show up to protest and we're put in check in fucking 2 seconds by a false report from Scientology.
Yeah, all they had
really
to,
triggering.
Being realistic, there's thousands of cameras around Celebrity Center. You all saw them, okay? Thousands. Yet you're going to tell me that this man could easily be arrested just because they said he was waving a gun, but with all your cameras, you didn't catch anything ridiculous like that? and you still took their word for it? Like, what
Or,
happened
but
to
on the other hand, where Scientology gives the footage easily to anything they need on any other investigation not having to do with Scientology.
Yeah.
But they couldn't say, oh, why couldn't the police officer say, hey, you've helped us with your great cameras before. Let's just see what he was doing. Like, aren't you a police officer? Don't you investigate? Are you really putting it up to the ex-investigators of Sea Org Scientology children to kind of put your sense into check? Like, who?
Yeah, and that's
I can
exactly
understand
right.
that break. I just don't understand how so many people money talks, and I get it. Money talks. But at the same time, how long are they going to get away with this? How many more people do we need to scream this to? Because, I'm going to keep screaming.
Well, and money talks, and guys, again, truth corroborates itself. This random drive-by by this guy that's running for mayor in Burbank sees that there's a protest there, stops to see what's going on, and understands that he's the only one that's not taking money in California. These people are giving money to run their hotel. That's why we keep calling this what it is: state-sponsored child trafficking of minors at scale, happening in California, aided and abetted by the LAPD, by those people that are accepting those paychecks and turning a blind eye. At this point, is a willful blind eye that they are turning, because they've had decades of incidents of runaway kids, of people that they found in extremely compromising situations. And there's not a single criminal investigation into these people except for Danny Masterson. And we know how those women have been treated.
And how long it took, and how difficult it was just to get that done. And it's still, there's other lawsuits connected just to that, because that's how hard they make it to. Anyways, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
corruption, guys, like, this is how corruption is bred. You need an environment this corrupt to run this level of unhinged criminal conspiracy operations of this level. Because we are here, 3 kids from 3 different states, from different countries, all 3 of us from different countries, that have nothing in common. Our lineage not in common. Our parents should have never met. Nothing. The only thing in common we have is we were trafficked inside of those disgusting hotels. And they gave us a front row seat to something we couldn't consent to something we had not a shred of a clue what these people really had in mind when they were pitching us. Sign your billion-year contract. You're really going to love it. You really are special. You really do qualify to be here because you're so special. We really have looked at all these qualifications, and, we couldn't have been more gullible when they were pitching us this stuff. And the fact that our parents were so about it completely, again, eroded any shred of possibility for us to understand what was actually going to be taking place. So I really have to, we're questioning all these things that don't make sense, and all of these connections and all of these people that in this year 2023, there's only one word for it, guys. It's like they're playing dumb.
Yeah.
And, we see straight through it. You want to play dumb? Okay, play dumb. Playing dumb is allowed. Playing dumb is not illegal until you really have to start explaining yourselves, because, court cases are continuing to pile
And
against
as long as
every
they keep
one of these
piling,
people that want to not have court cases go on. It's like Valerie Haney went through her arbitration. She sat through whatever in the hell they put her through. So now she's out of that. And now let's really see what in the hell these people were doing. Let's just wait for the courts to tell us what happened in that process, to see if a child that signed a billion-year contract, that was forced to arbitrate against her best interest, never mind that she had complete arrested development while Scientology kept her completely away from any normal culture outside of those hotels. So, but apparently the court wants to blind itself with a pen, poke their eyes out, have them bleed, and tell a child that they're responsible for having signed a binding contract at the age that they signed those contracts, and that all subsequent contracts were so valid and so enforceable. I mean, it's like The law could not just be to enforce whatever in the hell is in the best interest of Scientology. I mean, in what world are we living, guys? Like, how is everything on their favor? Why?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And the law is common sense. The law is not weird shit that doesn't make any sense. When stuff is starting to be pitched as very weird and we had a lot of contracts and we really have a lot of corporations going on, that is just hogwash. And it's BS law practiced by BS attorneys that don't give a shred of an F. As long as they get paid, they're okay. But you know what? It's like
money.
even attorneys have ethical standards that they have to be upholding. And where are those agencies to make sure that these attorneys are not just lying through their teeth to the detriment of all those kids being trafficked inside these hotels?
Yep, but I do like what Amy says. It's all about the money. That's why.
And child services and all the other state legal representatives that are in positions to have authority to just walk in there anytime.
Yeah, check everybody's passport. Check their ID.
Check my mother's health. When did she last go to, and now we're talking about elderly, but you know, there's so many things. There's, like I said, about even the cop, the investigator, or the police officers coming to arrest Brian with this false report. Do the investigation. It's like you're going to see some red flags pretty quickly. It will get you on a journey of investigating, journalists. Stop wasting our fucking time. Like, obviously we're going to do what we're doing, but like us having to explain everything, do the research and go find out yourself. And watch the other channels and things of people who are telling all their kinds of stories and see it in a view of the law. See it in the view of, is this human trafficking? Am I rejecting the fact that Scientology is human trafficking? Like, that's what we have to really, you have to start looking at things that you're literally saying, that's not happening. So once you start seeing one of those, you'll see there's a ripple effect, and then you're not going to want to be a part of this. So just go look at the stuff, go investigate the things that you don't think are happening.
Well, and even to the point of the law is human trafficking is coercion and fraud. So in what world were we not defrauded as children and coerced to be part of this hotel operation? We would love to understand that. If I signed my contract at 14 years old, how old were you, Lara?
I was 3.5 years, almost 4 years old with my red crayon. I remember choosing the red because I wanted red.
And did they have you sign it again though before you started?
So then I was at around 4, and then I signed it again at like 10 years old, and then I signed it again before we were shipped to Clearwater at 13, when I was 13.
So 3 times a child was pitched an agreement.
A billion year.
To be there for a billion years. How old were you?
And every time the contract just got shinier and more golden horses.
And it just became this beautiful thing. I signed my first contract at 7 years old. 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I was promised.
This is impossible to defend. Again, our parents were very happy. They were singing praises, saying how great it was, how amazing it was, and whatever. And we're calling upon them to check that decision that they made for us in that situation. Because them knowing a lot of what was going to go down, unfortunately for them, they knew a lot. They knew more that should have actually, been like, well, maybe this is for me, but maybe, I'll let my child decide at 18, even. Like, okay, maybe at 18, you decide if you want to be a part of this or not. But there's just
I think they need to be older. For me personally, they need to be of smoking age, because that place is going to stress you out so bad that you're going to pick up smoking.
And alcohol. Yeah. I mean, 21 and up is sort of like the only arbitrary age that.
Another thing I remembered, the smoking and the drinking, being Danny Masterson's friend, going to these clubs. The first time I ever went to a club underage was with Danny Masterson. He got me in. Brighton Goss and Danny Masterson at the Avalon in Hollywood. So like it's all a connection. Oh, and then and then later Danny's like, hey Megs, are you on course? I heard you were smoking marijuana. And I was like, didn't you smoke? And he was like, no, I've never done that. So it's just like an insane thing. Like, oh, damn, I had this idea that Danny never smokes marijuana, so I should look up to him and think, like, actually, I got this false information from some Scientologist who's probably a really good in-standing Scientologist, and I assumed that they were making this seem not like a big deal. Like he literally was trying to, as part of, and probably one of his ethics handlings was trying to get me to go into the Hillhurst mission to go get an ethics meter check and get an ARC brake handling and whatever, which I did do. Anyways, I just remember being at the Avalon later with him, telling him, saying like, not what the hell, you're smoking weed? And I was going like, you're the one who got me in. Like, I was just kind of like, there are people in your crowd who do this. Why do you think I wouldn't smoke weed? Anywho.
Yeah. Like, talk about an instigator of drama. But you also had, as a kid.
But then I'm hooking up with his friends, Eric Balfour or whoever the heck. You know what I mean? Like, these are all people in his crowd that tended to do the similar things he was doing. Obviously, that's a big thing to say because maybe perhaps they weren't raping and drugging people. But I'm saying that when you have a group of people like a Sea Org group organization saying, oh, okay, well, he's not really doing that. Well, he's not really doing that. It allows the person to be absolutely okay with what they're doing. So journalists and investigators should go in and literally just see what happens when a child is doing TRs for 3 hours, one little 15-minute break, and then 3 hours again every day for a month with an elderly person or somebody that they shouldn't be doing that with. What is it numbing? What is it doing? Psychologically, how long? You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah. So here's a question. Chicey? I'm probably butchering that name, but I wonder why
Chase.
CPS. I thought it's Chase too, but
I don't know.
Since they're, I don't know. I wonder why CPS can't get involved. Religion, I guess. They have to actually make a phone call to CPS or to the police because I know in my case they didn't make a call. They my mother's superiors all knew, people all knew. And they did not make a call to CPS, not once.
But I would also say that somebody in CPS, Child Protective Services, watching this video and even just a clip, you don't have to send them this whole long, boring video. Just kidding. But send them this clip where we're saying, no, somebody needs to go in and do this. This is enough evidence from children who were in that. Our voice, our words is enough for a Child Protective Services just to go in and see what's going on.
Yep.
Same for the elderly in there. And maybe do it when it's not planned. Like maybe go in when they haven't manipulated you into believing everything's fine. Like maybe do Bible diligence day. And do your job the way a real investigator would do it. How am I being not shown how children are being abused in these organizations? I need to figure that out because clearly I'm not seeing it. Go figure it out.
Yeah. It'd be nice if they could. I mean, realistically, we do have a couple questions and I want to get your guys' opinion on them. So the first one, since your voice is not totally shot, do you want to read them, Serge?
Question, did you meet Alexa from Meet Predators? She really put herself out there for so many issues. Well, I think you're the first one to actually meet her. Lara, how was your meeting?
Yeah, I met her. I saw her post, her doing the first protest at the, down, we call it Big Blue, on L. Ron Hubbard Way and Fountain. Foxy, not right now, thank you. But Lara's dog toy, I just saw that. But yeah, I have no idea still. I haven't watched, I don't know what Alexa did as a child or a Hollywood star or whatever. I still haven't watched it and I really don't care, but I think she's an amazing person. And when I came up to the protest, the first time, my first protest or my first Scientology protest, it was very sort of like, oh, good, whoever said this post about this thing is going to be here. Like, it felt like for once somebody said, kept their word.
Yeah.
And it felt like, okay, well, that's real, and I'm here. And then I just saw us everybody was just doing their protest, how they do it all together. And so that felt really cool that there was no sort of controlled little groupie culty vibe. There was none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that was the first time I met her, was at the first Scientology protest we did.
Yeah, this was
Like
my
a month
first
ago.
time meeting her. I talked to her and her husband beforehand. And yeah, it was it was nice to hear someone caring that they understood that Scientology is going to do stuff to try to prevent us from, doing a protest, whether it was cutting down all the trees or, deciding they were going to shred the trees at the same time we were trying to rally.
Yeah, and I met her, at the rally, had a quick conversation with her beforehand, but I just really felt that she was bringing a very authentic voice and a powerful one, having done a lot of work on herself to expose the whole like celebrity child industry, where we know that there's so many parallels between, the unlawful conservatorship of Britney Spears and, how all of these Nickelodeon kids were being treated and who was getting the money from what kid and all kind of horrendous, unthinkable, disgusting back end deals. And then these kids being put to work, and again, Hollywood and Scientology have one thing in common, you guys. They both adulticize children. And they both infantilize themselves. All the Hollywood people, oh yeah, we're just artists. We can just try this and try that. You know what? Miss us with that BS. Go get creativity somewhere else. Don't do it at the expense of kids who, are not old enough to know if they want to consent. Again, going back to this ridiculous, simple idea so that everyone all the way far back understands what in the hell we're talking about. If a child's not old enough to consent, why in the hell are they getting ensnared in things that they should not be pressed with having to make decisions on? And that's why, shame on Hollywood for exploiting kids as if your movie matters. You know what? Miss us with your BS movie. Your entertainment is BS. Like, we don't care about it. Figure it out. Figure out another creative way where you don't exploit a child if you still want to make that child content. It's like, in what world is abusing somebody a good thing to do? But apparently Hollywood and Scientology think it's great. Let's just adulticize the kids. Let's pretend that they are just adults, just like all of us. And, it hasn't worked out well, you guys. How many kids has Hollywood lost to drug addiction? And, we know exactly what in the hell this means. So, same thing in Scientology. How many of us kids have ended up in those situations? It's not a good situation for kids to be adulticized and for those infantilized adults to continue to run around unhinged. Because you know what? They don't think there's anything wrong with adulticizing kids and they're willing to defend it. Well, you know what? It'd be great to start hearing some of those pathetic defenses. By all means, we welcome your pathetic, stupid ass defense. Because it'd be interesting to pitch to us the kids that did survive being treated as adults, that did live to tell, to really hear the excuses that all of these Hollywood executives and Scientology executives that were all about adulticizing kids, doesn't matter, they can do it. And they hand selected us, you guys, like based on psychologically profiling us. Oh, this one's like this, or this one's like that. Like Lara and I, you guys see that we're very confrontational. Well, as kids, we had to be like that because they were literally always after us. So we had to defend ourselves. But then Lara gets put to do ethics handlings, and I get to be a sec checker because, oh yeah, you guys have what it takes to do those kind of things. You can confront people, and they were weaponizing our intelligence again against our consent. We didn't know what in the hell we were being put to do.
No, we didn't. Okay.
Liz, I just put that picture there. If you want to pull it up, it's just Serge's sign that he had at the protest, which I think is so appropriate for just being straight up with our message. Like,
Yeah, let's lower
kids
that real
can't
quick.
consent. So where's the law there? Where's the justice and the legal? Where's the road for this to not happen? That's the road. Don't let any kids into Scientology, because that is Scientology. They are a grooming machine, and they have to start young. That's why Scientology works the way it is working. Not that Scientology technology works.
Yeah, let's
Want
be
to be
realistic.
clear about that. Yeah.
Let's not do any more clay demonstrations.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I just thought that was cool.
I love that picture. I really do.
Yeah. You all should
Quite
go
a
follow
few
Serge
pictures.
Delmar on his on your, what's your Instagram? Serge Delmar, right? I'm always like
Serge
Kids of
Delmar.
Scientology. Yeah, Serge Delmar. SERGEDELMAR.
Yeah.
So here's a question for everybody. Question: when was the last time you all been outside this hotel? Me personally, I've driven by it. I've driven by it, but at the same time, I've never actually set foot that close to it or did the little, when we got told that we can't cross the cement line or we're trespassing. I did the little look, I'm on this side. Now I'm back on the law. I'm on this side. And then I'm back in law, and so it was, or I kept saying something funny, like I'm breaking the law. I'm not breaking the law. I'm breaking the law. I'm not breaking the law. Um, I realized that places that I had painted weren't as scary as I thought they were,
Hmm.
because that place used to bring a lot of fear for me.
I mean, and for me, you guys, I had not really a direct relationship with Celebrity Center. I was not inside of that hotel. I was stuck at the Fort Harrison Hotel, which in many ways was worse because, again, in Florida, they take it to, and you saw the culture in Florida and California, Lara. So, like the Florida people were even worse. I mean, as if this could even get any worse, honestly. I mean, it's like literally where do you put the level of insanity? But
And then it gets even worse when you go to Gold Base. So I mean, full circle, when you go to the so great, everything's so pretty, and no, it's like all a lie. It's all manipulated lies to form a very soft, precious, new brain, heart, mind, body that is just born, literally for me, into this thing. So it's just like, what is the intention of that? Why should something like this be a religion, and why should it ever involve kids?
Yeah. So here was the question that I had.
Oh, the last time I was outside this hotel was about a month or so before that. I was leaving a little "Where's Shelly" note, on their little mailbox thing. So they didn't like that either.
Yeah, they didn't. I'm sure they didn't. But you were also letting anybody that drove close, like you're like, see the sign, cause disconnection. See the sign, suppressive, honk for me, and I'm just like,
You mean on the on the protest? Yeah. I need them to read it. I need them to know. And then they're like, oh, proud SP. What's that? I'm like, SP is when you get excommunicated. It was just a quick, driving by. They're stopping at the light. I'm like, I got a good 5 seconds, 10 seconds in here. And I just quickly explained what it is. And I was like, and now they did that to people who were born and raised in it, have no idea of the outside world. I was like, that was me. So that's why I'm goldenrod and I'm a proud SP. And they're like, oh, awesome. Like, people really don't know about it because Scientology compresses this shit down so much and then attacks people who are exposing it, or drains the money of people who are bringing them to court. Like
Yeah.
they have their ways of dealing with calling people who are protecting the protesters who are getting the word out. They have, calling the cops on these people. It's just like they have their ways of doing it. And we know this because we were all in it. And we know, yep, security would do that. Oh, yep, those would be HCO matters or whatever. So everything was departmentalized for us. So you can't tell us we don't know what we're talking about. We literally were part of the structure of this body, of this.
They dominated us with fear. That's all they ever had. Fear. Like fear is the only stock and trade of these people. They're not powerful. They're not intelligent. They don't have anything special for themselves inside of those hotels. It's just this entitlement of, literally instilling fear on others to protect what, again, all of these Scientology parents, all of these Scientology executives are so pressed to do to kids. They don't want to lose the right to abduct more kids inside of those hotels.
Yeah.
They're going to squeal if you even say, oh, no child should be in there. Oh, how could you be negating our rights? We can do whatever in the hell we want. And you know what? They did do whatever in the hell they wanted with us. But
and look
we
where it
are
got
in the
us.
year 2023. We have evolved. We have changed. We have, checked the pitches again. Each one of those memos from L. Ron Hubbard that they did make me read as a child and instruct others on how to conduct these disgusting, abominable, barbaric interrogation sessions that should have never been a single child put to do those interrogations. And again, we're coming and talking common sense here, guys. Like, this is not some sort of like crazy opinion that we really do have. So I don't know if that's the next question.
Yeah.
That
I
was
was sorry. I was also gonna say, just so you two know, you didn't know this, but after when we were leaving, I walked by La Poubelle, and something happened, and I was like, "Oh, what's your sign?" Somebody was eating. I was like, "Oh, you're eating at this." So I started telling, and the owner of La Poubelle came out, and I argued with her in front of everybody. I was like, "You're the owner, Francis, whatever her name was." And I was like, "You wrote," and I said it out loud to everybody eating there. I had a nice little buzz on, so that was good. And so in front of everybody eating there, and she kept being like, "You need to get out of here, guys. Sorry about." And I was like, "Don't say sorry. They should I'm letting them know. Let them hear. Let them know what they're eating." Anyway, so I started that, and then she had this guy come out who's probably the manager she's having sex with, who knows. Anyways, and he was trying to say something, whatever, and he was trying, and he like bumped in, and she was like, "Oh, don't touch her." And I was like, "That's right, do not touch me," because yeah, and I was like, "See, you do know." And I said, "Oh," she was trying to say, "I don't even know what an SP is." She's such a fucking liar. You don't know what an SP is. Anyway, so I was like, that was really fun to just see her lie to me right there in front of my face, trying to protect her image. Nope. She was like, "I'm going to call the cops." I was like, "Go ahead. I'll wait here for you while you call them." And then he was like, "You want me to call?" And she was like, No. She was saying something. "No, I'm just going to." I was like, "You're not. Because you don't want this attention around your restaurant." So, and I kept being like, "I will stay here as long as I want." And then I didn't, but I wanted them to feel like I was going to.
Yeah, we'll go right back
It
to
felt
that
really
story
good.
of
I'm
you
serious.
walking
This
by
gave
them.
me a lot of strength, you guys. But yeah,
Good.
it felt really good to let everybody know about that, and then I walked away. Or one of the sweet protesters was like, "Okay, Lara, come on." I was like, "Okay, let's go."
Yep. Growing up in Scientology, Liz, Serge, Lara, you're all badass yesterday. I hope I can join you next time. Sweet.
Thank you. What was that, AA, Ron?
Yes, it was.
Oh, I'm so disappointed in AA Ron for not being there. So the next one, I don't know when that will be, but guess what, AA Ron? If it's in Clearwater, I'll be there. Anywho.
Yeah, we'll all figure a way to get to Clearwater. We all will. And even if we have to drag Surge kicking and screaming. He's gonna be there.
And I gotta say that AA Ron, you are so amazing, and he looked like he was DJing, running all our channels while we were on the live. Like later I looked, I'm like, look at Aaron, like, okay, oh my God. He's having his own PTSD and laughing. He's probably going through the exact same emotions we were, just not right there, yeah.
Probably.
Thank you, AA Ron.
All right. Jenny Wong, I hope I said that right. I loved watching all three of you protest yesterday. It was awesome to see the support you received. I particularly loved the cars honking. I loved them too.
Well, and you know what? It's like it really shows where public sentiment is on this issue, guys. Apparently, the LAPD are so clueless, can't do any sort of investigation for themselves. But, the citizens of Los Angeles are just as sick of this scourge having to subsidize with their taxpayer dollars things that they are also not consenting to. But the IRS thinks it's a great idea, and California thinks it's a great idea. Why don't we just charge all of these Californians to, subsidize these trafficking minors inside hotels? Because they can't just do anything about it, because we're going to just force them to pay for this. Force them to give these people, hook them up with no social betterment that they're doing. You cannot be abusing kids and then be doing social betterment. So whatever social delusion betterment you thought you were doing is all canceled by the fact of how all adults inside of those hotels are treating children. It's not okay. It's unthinkable. It's dangerous. It presents a clear and present danger for a child to be told they're an adult. And we would know how much of that danger is real and how much of that danger has been trivialized, to the detriment of all these kids. Because, Scientology's been around, you guys, for 73 plus years. And in 73 plus years, we've had almost literally no advocacy for kids. You almost wouldn't even think that kids are part of the problem, because the corporate media, to start with, doesn't make it a problem, because you know what? They don't want to go there. That's not the story they want to tell. Apparently, the corporate media really has a lot of really great ideas on what type of stories should be told. And despite having access to so many of us that went through this experience as children, all we see from the crooked corporate media is crickets. So all that provides the LAPD more cover to play dumb. Oh, well, the corporate media is not calling it out, then we also can play dumb. And all of a sudden, the two people that should be independent to make sure that, hotels like this cannot just flourish and prosper without a shred of checks and balances. Guys, there's no checks and balances inside of those hotels. They lock the doors. As you guys saw, everything is wired. And the only people that know what's going on inside of those hotels are vetted people that these people are okay with coming inside the hotel. So again, in what world are you running a social betterment campaign where you're vetting people to be helped so much? So the honking is real, and the public sentiment in California is that these people need to go. And, us showing up and all of you guys in the comments showing up, understanding and advocating for this simple fact. Those kids didn't consent. We didn't consent. No child ever consents. So Scientology parents, start thinking about that when you go to sleep tonight.
Yeah,
Is
and
my
so
child
many
capable of consenting?
and so many times we tried, in the ways we were allowed to, we tried to say, we don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. This is uncomfortable. What do I have to do to stop?
Yep.
As children, we were saying that. So read the sheets, watch the video, read the sheets of written down auditing sheet papers. Wants to lead this room, is refusing to talk about her overt, whatever it is. Like, I don't want to be there. Especially with my own mother. My own mother was auditing me on the basics of Scientology, which is memories and how to begin to learn the torturing role of auditing. like using self-analysis on me, and then TRs and objectives. Like, this is permanently building my core as a child to have to do and think and be a Scientologist for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Where's the choice in that? There was no choice. The choice was, all right, if you really want to sing, then hurry up and get your ethics in and stay in line basically for the next 4 or 5 years. And then once you get to gold base, you can do whatever you need to do, which is all a lie, by the way, because we know what everything is when you go to gold base. It's not even what we think it is at gold base.
No, they make it out to be kumbaya land. Like the rooms are so much better. The food is so much better. They have a dentist. Oh my God. They have all these.
It's insane. Yeah.
It's like a unicorn fart. Like,
and the real thing is, you feel as a child literally like you're burdening the dentist. You're burdening your mom and parents by asking them for underwear or like just basic needs. It's kind of a burden. So like, if you don't have a really bad cavity or swollen tonsil or something going on dentally where you're like not fainting, then try to just save it for the other kid or somebody, because they might not even be able to get it done in time. We might just have to pull the tooth today and then do it, whatever it is, or sometimes just pull the tooth because it's going to cost more money to try to have to fix it any other way.
Yeah. So they'll go the cheapest route possible, no matter the pain.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mischief.
I was
my
thinking
voice
your
is killing
voice.
me. I'm gonna start.
Ex-Mischief X. Question: were you connected to each other when you were in the cult? Yes. Serge and I were, from when I went from the Int Ranch hellhole to Clearwater hellhole. Hellhole Hotel, Clearwater. And then Liz, I met you through SPTV and everything, but
Yep.
her dad actually is at Gold Base currently with my mother, from what we know. So they've definitely, Bob Ferris, and I have heard Bob Ferris, and I've seen Bob Ferris as a kid. I just didn't know that he ever had a daughter. No idea.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of deeply connect anyways, whether we knew each other during the whole cult
Yeah. Our
years
parents
or
no
not.
longer take ownership.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, we kind of all connect in that way.
Very true. Okay. Here's the one that I thought was just cutest. Summer Savage question: can Wogs join your protest? Would love to join you.
Yes, 100%. That's what it's all about. It's what it's all about, so that Liz doesn't blow her voice out. She
Hey, I had to
she
try to
has
keep up
5
with
signs
you.
and 10 people yelling it for her as well, and she can enjoy it as well. So yeah, you can absolutely. And yeah, this term, the WOGS, is I guess we are changing it, I guess, into something, nice and peaceful for what it is. And it's hard to not say it, especially when we've grown up in that way, to use it to really separate. This person is not even slightly a Scientologist. They are definitely the other. They're on the other side, so it's really, but yes, anybody can join a Scientology protest. Literally anybody.
Yeah.
But if you're not a cool person and you're a petty or you're somebody, you don't show up to our protest, that's just gonna get found out real quick. Somebody asked in the chat, has anybody checked out Anthony's thing? I'm like, no, but I just think it doesn't matter either way. He is running an office. Whether he's a good person or not is not the point. The point is people in the system seeing what's happening who have interest in wanting to help in this area. It's cool that they had jumped off to go and promote and see, like, I'm gonna help this. Look, this protest needs attention. My job
never ends. If you were never in, but you have kept up with the stories
good
that
way.
you're hearing, then
never
then you
ends. So yes,
definitely-
anybody can come in.
yeah.
See, and I do like never ends the term more than I like the other one.
Yeah.
Question: has anyone verified that Mayor Burbank yet? Actually, yeah, Miranda, he was verified. I saw it on his Instagram account that he is running a campaign, because that was the other trippy thing about doing this protest, you guys. We we are being bombarded with people coming with questions and this and that, and it's not an environment where we know who's who, or we've never meet people. And like Lara was able to very fast confront that guy that was there. And that's also the power of having all of you guys on our lives when we're doing the protest, because again, we're all witnessing everything together. And
Yeah.
and Scientology PIs don't like that. But as soon as you said that you were videoing and on YouTube, he ran so fast. So just to
I
show you
also
what,
said that to the owner of La Poubelle. I said, oh, I have 5 cameras on you right now, and I didn't. By the way, I was like, "Where's Liz's body cam?" But I said it and immediately was like, "That's why I said don't touch her," like literally. And I was like, "Mm-hmm." So
Exactly. I'm glad you guys verified him. I did not. I was too busy. Good. That and I forgot about it.
we will be investigating. So, question, Renee B, is there misogyny in Scientology where women are less than? I actually have never heard that before because so many are higher in levels, in higher levels. There's definitely that, but it's also I feel like that misogyny really comes a lot from David Miscavige. Like because like
but
everybody
there's
else,
misogyny on the rhetoric, that whole 1950s BS
right? Like
from
the old
L. Ron Hubbard.
generational,
Women
yeah.
are women and they should just be cleaning and washing and rearing children because they're not good for anything else. And anytime they try to be anything else is whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to be a human trafficker, like Debbie Cook, she was a woman. And they love those women being complete and utter unhinged, egocentrical, narcissistic, literal nightmares. So
Manipulators. So they're manipulating.
they
They're
were,
using their young heart, their young woman heart to like get even deeper.
But there's also a feel like from an executive standpoint, like Nora would have had to call me sir. And if I didn't accept, and if I allowed her to call me Liz, then we're both in trouble because I could not, I was to be referred to as sir and she was to be referred to as Nora.
yeah, well, I mean,
And it's not ma'am, it was, sir or your position. But
yeah, but the misogyny is talking about like, where women being made specifically less than. I mean, definitely LGBTQ issues were definitely immediate less than. But the culture in the women in the Sea Org was not anti-woman. In fact, it was like majority of the executives were women. There were more women in executive positions than men at any given time because they were more organized, they were more unhinged. For there was something about women in the Sea Org that made them so like brutally sadistic, and they
I
all
think it
kind of
just
had
felt
that.
like men. I feel now that I'm thinking, I feel like it just felt like men because the top 8 people that spoke at events were men. Like
yeah,
that's the only thing.
Correct. It
So
was,
the public eye would only see this.
yeah. But then internally, how the hotel was running, it was all women, which also makes this very unthinkable, guys,
And
because
young children, like young ladies,
all of these
young women, like children.
women were the ones that were abusing the kids. Like people like that we talked about so many times. Debbie Cook herself was calling the abuse to happen to kids. So you would think that women would have had some sort of maternal instinct to protect kids, but nope, not in the hotel. Like women were, nope, they're just adults in small bodies. We can do whatever. You have your kid showing up to you, Laura.
you say, mama, you're not going to protest again today, are you?
We're almost done with the questions, right? Because I actually have to go too.
Yeah. Okay, so I can tag them all later afterwards, but let's see.
Just scroll through some more before Serge goes.
Okay.
Question: do you know the names of officers yesterday so SPTV can make a report to investigate police corruption? We can zoom in on videos and stuff. We definitely have, it's all on film and stuff. That would be really cool. That's just a lot of work for us ex-Scientology kids to deal with. Right now, we're just continuing to protest, basically. But so if anybody
Yeah,
out there
it's
wants to,
showing
I
up.
would love that. Yeah. investigate, do it all. If there's somebody's, so yeah, yeah. Question from Kelly BC: Can the ex cult of Scientology children not do a class action lawsuit, or is a statute of limitations? We don't have full details on that, but Serge has more. Just he's done his own knowledge on that, but more people need to be speaking and coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids of this, like, it's not
The
enough
problem
for
with the
just the
situation,
20
guys,
of us.
is that the trafficking is not being addressed as child trafficking.
Yeah.
We're still, pretending that this wasn't child trafficking, that we were having a very religious experience for ourselves, and that everything was okay. Because in America, yes, a convicted felon can write something in a memo. The IRS can say, oh, this is very religious, and all of a sudden, the laws are nowhere to be found to be enforced. So whether we like it or not, that's the reality today. The law has failed all the children that were put through this. Our entire formative years were utterly depleted, utterly stolen. We were literally co-opted into becoming roles that no child should ever be. Lara and I were put to be the so-called ethics officers of adults, and we were put into tiny rooms to dominate and humiliate adults, because apparently that was really going to do a lot of things for us. Apparently, we really did learn in a 2-week course inside a hotel how to do that to adults that were paying to sit in front of us and have this done. So yet again, it's like the whole Scientology thing. It's like Scientology's those audits. Scientology's those ethics handling. Scientology's doing courses. Scientology's nothing else but those 3 things. But so much of the corporate media glib coverage always goes into this hocus pocus, whatever in the hell glib understanding of the facts that they have, given that none of them go inside the hotels, none of them take a course, none of them go get an ethics handling, none of it check it out for themselves. They're always just, so what was your experience? And then with them having no eyeballs inside the hotels, that's why their stories, you guys, are so stupid all the time. Because these are people that were told that another person told them that another person, and then they conjured up something in an editorial board room, and then they quickly ran that through their department of legal to make sure they didn't say anything that they don't know what in the hell they're talking about, that they can't back up with their own evidence. But again, where's their skin in the game of this corporate media? Where is it? Because you know what? It was nowhere to be found pretty much when the Epstein victims where human trafficking at scale happened in Florida, again, another state where, rampant trafficking of minors is apparently very easy to get away with by billionaires, as if Scientology is not a bunch of billionaires doing what Jeffrey and Ghislaine were doing at this much of a scale, you guys. Also, here's a celebrity, come, celebrities. Well, who's recruiting celebrities and bringing kids to serve the celebrities? Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine, and so are these people. So again, there's hundreds and if not thousands of us second generation kids that were put through this whole thing. But we're being told that we all collectively had a religious experience, that we all signed a contract that was very binding at 7 years old, at 11 years old, at 15 years old, and that's what we're calling BS. We're sick of being lied to our face with full straight faces from all the corrupt politicians of California on down to Florida. Because this is a red issue, this is a blue issue. Both parties are state sanctioning the industrial child trafficking, abuse of minors being brought from all manner of countries, carefully plucked in to come into this country with special organized visas that apparently ICE, another 3-letter agency that is sleeping at the wheel, just letting, oh, you're 16 coming from Siberia. Oh, but you are coming to Scientology. Oh, you're very religious then. Go. Like, we need to start understanding how that could possibly work, how all the authorities could be so easy to dupe. The people from ICE, the people from the FBI, the people from the LAPD, the people from the Clearwater Police, the people from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. How many police people can be duped that fast by people working inside of a hotel. Literally. Like, it's not like these people are some sort of geniuses of nothing. They studied 2 quick courses inside hotels, and then all of a sudden they pretend they're very special. Well, they're very special at getting away with criminal activity. That's all we see. So until we don't start seeing that actual criminal cases get opened up, we have no interest in civil litigation. Never mind that Florida has made it completely, almost nearly impossible to have anything heard in a court. Because again, you signed your contract, that statutes of limitation right now, you really should have figured out that you were being child trafficked. Why did you wait so long, is what we're being told. Meanwhile, it took us decades to go to one organization to protest, to assert our First Amendment right. You know, it still feels foreign that we have that right because we never had it when we were inside the hotel. All we had to do was cross the threshold of that hotel and all of a sudden shut the hell up. What are you talking about? You can't be critical. You can't have a thought. You can't say this. You can't say that. We control you. We know better. We know better. You're an idiot. And just acquiesce, and consent to all these bullshit stuff that we're going to do to you because your parents said it's okay. So shut the hell up and take it. So no, we're not okay with that. We're not okay with that treatment. We're not okay with that treatment for other minors that, you know, don't have anyone saying these points for them. The corporate media is not saying that for them. The corporate media is telling them, you're just having an amazing time inside of those hotels, and this is what America's all about. Freedom of religion, you guys. Well, you know what? No. Freedom of religion doesn't mean that you get to do any unhinged thing you want to kids. And extremist, radicalized cells are unacceptable, whether they're Hamas, whether they're Scientology, whether they're whatever in the hell you're calling it. If you're radicalizing children, and then you're co-opting them, and then you're literally commoditizing them to do the unthinkable for you, it's time to check yourselves. America, as if you don't have the scourge of radicalization being state sanctioned by your own MF country. You're really gonna go solve terrorism when you have homegrown radicalizing cells inside hotels that, you know, you pretend, oh no, that's what we call religion here. You see? We really do think in the ability of a convicted felon to write memos to screw up all these kids. And none of us can do anything because, you know, he did write that in that memo that, you know, lock someone against their will. So as pathetic as this is, it just shows us that, you know, no one in legal knows what in the hell they're doing. All of this is just a PR stint that we're seeing, and the really thing that really controls the law is money. As long as you pay the LAPD to protect you, they'll play dumb for as long as they need to. Well, you know what? Their time to play dumb is out. It's out and it's over because we see straight through you. You know, it's taken a lot for us to get this intelligent and be able to see through the manipulation and the scare tactics like you, Lara, like you showed up. And it's like, you're not going to be intimidated. We're not going to go in fear. We're doing nothing wrong. The people that are doing things wrong are inside of that hotel, and all these people are pretending that they're doing nothing wrong. So we're done with that. We're not children to be manipulated and played with. We know what in the hell we're talking about. So that's why we can demand and be this, you know, this adamant about this stopping, you guys, because we don't want to be yapping away for 10 years. It's like we need the kids out of those hotels today, tomorrow, next day. And then after all kids are out, grab all the elderlies out. And then whoever wants to stay there that's 21 and up and the elderly age, sign a new contract. Make sure that you're going to be consenting to all of it. And then let them do whatever in the hell they want. We don't care.
Yeah.
We cannot help you. If that's what you want for your life, whatever, call it whatever in the hell you have to call it. We don't care. We're not coming to stop you from doing disgusting things to yourselves. Do it if that's what you want to do. But no kids and no elderly is allowed at all.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
All right.
Also, I would say we just started learning the laws and the for ourselves. Oh, where can we go? What is, oh, they're not allowed to touch me at all? Great. I feel safer. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It does feel a little safer. Did you need to go, Serge?
Yeah, I'll let you guys finish all of that. So thank you so much for holding this, and good talking to all of you.
I love it
You
when
too,
you talk.
darling. Yeah, you're so
Bye-bye.
awesome. I love that you jumped out. I was like, oh, yeah.
This is going to be a
The
challenge.
3 exhausted little bunnies are giving our success story.
Right?
Yes. All right, guys. Bye.
Love you so much, Serge.
Love you. All right.
All
We
right,
have a
let's
few
go to
more
the next
questions.
question. Thank you, Kelly BC.
All right.
Also, me and Liz do the edibles, so definitely maybe my eyes are definitely stony eyes because of my pen. I don't feel that exhausted, but I do have to work tomorrow, so it'll be a good night's sleep for me. This is just capping it
will.
off.
It will. It'll
Yeah.
be so nice and so early that it's like, oh. But no, I'm rip roaring and ready because some of these I want to get to, and then I
Rhonda
get to tell them
W.
all about the video of yours today.
Oh, I like that. What it says in the thing. Life is short. Enjoy your coffee, but I would put like enjoy your tea or whatever because I don't drink coffee. Okay. Anywho.
Comment. I know protest is the right meaning, but I like rally to support survivors on the outside.
What is that? I know protest is the right meaning, but I
Right
like
word.
rally of supporters / survivors on the outside. Yeah. Cool. Next one, darling. Or do we not have any more?
No, we have more. Sorry. Catherine, and your voices for all those who can't use their own. You are making an impact.
Thank you.
You should have heard Lara. Like I bow to your whistle.
Yeah, I got that vibration whistle. That's I love using that, especially when they say, "Oh, you can't use the foghorns or whatever." I'm like, "That's okay. I got a whistle. That's gonna
you have a
annoy,
whistle.
and it will be clean and clear and da 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 and you know what I mean?"
Mm-hmm.
And I got a strong voice, so
You do. All right. So, did the other one not? Of course it didn't.
he didn't click on it.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Comment. Oh, it's Maryland. It's illegal for tax exempt organizations to give money to politicians and political. Yeah, we know that, Maryland.
We know. We just.
But ... It does.
They
It
still do.
happens in ways, just like people they're not accepting the fact that auditing is the trade, is the exchange for getting off your sins and however you want to call it in the outside world. That's what they're paying. Auditing. They're just calling it auditing. It's like kind of when you go to a bar, you know, a private party, and they can't really sell. They don't have a license to have alcohol, but you're buying a tag or a ticket, and then you go bring the ticket to get the beer. That tag ticket is the literal evidence. It's called auditing that show exactly how they do this, and then how they do it legally by being hidden behind a religion and then hiding that person's information, everything they've given off in sessions and all that for their whole lives. Because when you go into Scientology to get auditing, you have to do a life history. You do it before you join the Sea Org, you do it before anything. They get your whole life history. And then once you do it and you think they make you do it again. Because and later they'll make you do it again. So that if you forgot something or whatever, and then they have you doing your life history in every year. So there you go. So that's how. So yeah, it's. I understand the whole politician and everything, but what is good is somebody coming out, being a politician or running for a politician position, saying I do not give or endorse or receive money from Scientology on our YouTube. That's pretty powerful. Period. So
Yeah.
that was really
So we have one more before we talk about Vaboop's amazing video.
Boop boop boop.
Whistleblowing Good Witch. Liz, you seemed so joyful and committed yesterday. as was Carrie, Betty Boop. Oh, you mean Boop, Betty Boop, Vanessa. Okay, Lara, and 100% engaged to protest. Holy crap! You guys literally took your voices back yesterday.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
it felt good. Felt really good.
it
It
did. It
felt
did feel
like I'm like,
like
woo, okay, good. I'm gonna feel more and more at ease every time I do this, and it'll start to get real fun.
I think it is
It'll start
fun.
to. I mean, it
It
would be fun.
honestly
It's
felt
just like,
fun.
yeah. But at times it's also, like feeling the guy lying to me on the film, like filming me. I was just like, this isn't fun, dude. You're not being a cool dude. But it
Yeah,
was
you're not
also
being
an
nice,
interesting thing to receive a perspective of somebody who thinks that I don't know what they're doing.
right? Now here was my question.
That was
Why
fun to
is
look
it
at.
that all of us were distracted by random people when that happened to you?
Because I noticed that. I was like, where is all my peeps? I was looking good there, da da da. And I said, who is this? And that's where my attention went. Who is that random dude? So I left. I probably just got a swig of my little vitamin electrolytes. And then I was walking toward the camera guy right away because I was like, do. But then I was trying to see what he's doing. Is he, will he come up and ask for an interview? Is he just nice? Is he a nice guy? Is he just doing a cool overall protest? Is he just, and he immediately once I said, wait, you're a Scientologist, or I said, you were either paid like $100, maybe 500. And just certain things I was saying started to make him uncomfortable. And I could see, even if he wasn't a Scientologist, this person is starting to lose his, I'm here to
Posture,
just
I'm so
film.
cool.
Right. And I have strength. And then after he couldn't get he was trying to get really close with the camera, and I just moved my SPTC, so you just see my hair probably in the camera that says Proud SP, coming out the top of my sign. And so he moved my sign because he was annoyed that he couldn't get my face that close. And I said, you don't
Yep.
touch my sign. I could get you arrested for that right now.
Yep.
And then he freaked out. And I think he had an ear thing. I'm sure somebody was just like, all right, man, just go, because you can get arrested right now. They probably told him that in the earpiece.
Yep, he crossed
And
the
he
boundary.
bounced. I literally was like, bye, bitch. That's
Bye,
right.
Felicia.
Anywho, so yeah.
So as I was explaining earlier on my before you guys so happily joined me, that you had given me a minor heart attack.
Yeah.
Caused my anxiety and my blood pressure to shoot up to dangerous levels.
But then you were like, okay, I need to tell myself to not freak out that hard. I need, right? You can't put that, what I'm saying is you can't put that pressure on your beautiful heart. So just kind of go, let me breathe first before I hear that nothing happened. So then you go like, oh, okay, good. But that was a good learning. But that was so cute when I turned out like my little scooty boosh.
Yeah, because we all tried
and then I could hear that your voice was shot. That was so funny. Good job. You and then your little with Angels SP, that made me laugh in my little stony happy
I know,
drunk.
and we had your shirt in the car, and I'm like, okay, I'll just give it to Vanessa. Then I forgot to give it to Vanessa because we were trying to get a hold of you, and nothing was, none of your phone was off, and we play a dangerous game, and you're not allowed to go
the phone died
missing.
during everybody saw on the live. Phone died during the protest. And then I didn't care after that, because then the protest was done like maybe 10 minutes after that. And I knew that everybody else was still streaming. So I was just like, good. I just was like, okay, let's go eat and have drinks. And like, it was just so great. Wow.
Yes,
Exhaustion,
I'm glad
but
you
in a good way.
I'm definitely glad that you got some you time.
Yeah,
because
that was fun. I love doing that.
I love that you hang out with anybody. But it's
Not anybody. I have a good detector.
Oh, you have the bullshit detector. You're like,
And
I
if you
smell
are
bullshit.
bullshitting me, let's do some more. Let me just figure out the reason why and everything before you even know that I know.
Oh, look who just popped in.
Oh, hi, Mr. Lifeboat.
I know, Tommy.
Yep, Tommy, one of the little nice protectors,
Yep.
supporters, protector.
He was a lot taller than I thought he was going to be.
Oh, I didn't realize you never met him.
Like I watched the Lifeboat because of sobriety, but when I saw how tall he was, I was like, you're like a Christmas tree, dude.
He's probably laughing right now.
Probably, but it was. I'm all. I haven't. Hi.
Hey
Like I
there,
didn't realize
Tommy.
I'm that short. Like 5'7" obviously is very short nowadays.
Right, it's pretty comforting. It's pretty
Oh.
comforting. Good job, Tommy. That's what I said to him. Hey, it's Tommy.
Nice. So but overall you had a great experience?
Yeah. Like in no way was there anything in dealing with the police officers and talking to the tree cut there's all the steps all the way. It just felt like a learning thing, and then it was like release and then learning, and then I was like okay, I feel strong right here. Okay, good. I'm gonna take a little break. It just felt good. And always with you guys watching live, you guys, I can't tell it enough. It's so. I didn't stream this on my channel just because I thought it was going to be quick. And then I was like, look at us now. Nope.
Negative.
But next time. It's good. I love doing this on your channel anyway. But so, yeah, just having everybody in the live and then having the people that literally come from our SPTV community showing physically up in human form, literally at the protest, shows that even the people in the live chat are just as important as that. You know what I mean? For me, that's what it feels like when I'm there. When I was there protesting, knowing, hey, I got my live stream rolling. So, like, it feels like, to me, it's a protection thing. It feels really sweet and comforting. That's it. And it makes me be able to be the strong, loud person that I am. And
see, and I liked my favorite part before we all got started is when you were just singing your songs.
That was fun.
Because it was, they want to sit there and say that we're super suppressive, and then here comes some nice music. It's not hurtful. There's nothing malicious.
No.
Like,
and it came from a time when I was afraid to really talk about it all out loud, but I needed to in some way. And I was like, I'm not going to waste my time or the person who's making this music with me. It still has to be real. It has to be. So it was really cool. Like, even in ways like that, music was really therapeutic for me, where I was able to say things without saying it out loud. And even if I was saying it out loud, both sides would kind of think the other, like, not so bad of the other thing. Yeah. So.
Here's what got me. I got an email from someone. You might have an email too. Mm-hmm. But a person had emailed that they were so proud that we weren't yelling at the tree trimmers or the police officers because they were just doing a job.
Oh, no. I was telling them, like, I was laughing with them and using the only little few Spanish words that I do know and being so funny. I made them laugh. They're like, yeah, no, they did. They tell us what time. And I said, I know. I was like, no mames. Oh, it was great. And so even that felt good. I felt like, yeah, these are people I used to trim trees. Like, this is so funny. Like, and I remember even when the dust was, this is so horrible. Like, I just can't imagine for other protests, if somebody was doing and they were cutting trees, they would literally stop. If they were like, oh, I support this, we're going to stop because we don't feel good that we accidentally overscheduled. When Scientology literally purposely schedules these things to happen. So anyways, I remember standing there, even talking with Tommy a little bit, and then even talking to the guy that was filming me. I'm like, oh, yeah, you got that palm in there. And I was kind of like, okay. I was like, are you lying to me? I was kind of just being funny with him at first, just to kind of catch his intentions. But even Tommy was there like, but like as we're protesting and doing this, like palm dust, like going all up in our eyes and everything. But I just was like, don't care. Maybe that's also why my eyes are a little bit redder today. That's true.
I'm going to go with
a nice
sunburn.
few drinks. Oh, no, I had sunblock on. I have this really nice foundation. I think you know what, right here. Yeah, because I was sweating a little too, so it drips down. Anyways, right here, I think I did get a little sunburn because it does feel a little cheek, cheek, cheek.
Yeah, my nose still hurts. I do see a big old compliment for you, though.
Oh, Amy Scobie, sweetie. Lara's beautiful. Look at that uniform in her picture. It's so creepy. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
Lara's
the
beautiful
the
voice.
Class A button.
I
always
mean,
got
it
me.
just, when I do look at it though, it does feel like she did a good job, like making sure it was like really put on there. She's laughing at us right now. I can feel it. Okay.
Probably because she's like,
She's like, guys, it looked good. I looked
I was-
sharp. I was your
Yeah.
sharpest tool in the drawer, or whatever they say.
sharpest tool in the shed.
Lara's beautiful voice singing over the hurt that cult inflicted on your young life. Beautiful and healing. Yes, it freaking is. Amy, I can't wait. Maybe, if they do the Clearwater protest or something, maybe, Amy's still laughing. Maybe there's a way that we can set up like an actual show where so people can see the whole actual live show with real sound and all that. And it's like being recorded properly through a stream where you can hear it properly. So it doesn't sound like, but that would be really fun, even as a protest sort of end thing. And I feel like Danny Mustard, is that, he was just on with Vanessa.
With V.
That was such a great conversation, and he seems so awesome. Like he seems exactly like where he's supposed to be. Like it's just like really cool to see his growth. Like that's crazy. But also for him to be able to be there singing, like that would be super amazing. To have, oh, you're gonna cut palm trees down in front of us and stuff. Well, we're gonna play some music and, make music to the horns honking. Dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean?
I do have a deal with you after listening to you say that. If there's one in Florida, I'll go.
Yeah, that would be so fun. I'm sure we could get a little whatever fun thing that's like, hey, who wants to get us to Clearwater?
Yeah, who wants to help get us to Clearwater where flying cockroaches, you'd wake up and they'd be on your cheek. It was amazing.
Vanessa,
at that
plug
hotel.
your ears.
Yeah, sorry, V-Boop. When I know you're listening to this is a warning for V-Boop. Yeah, I killed many a cockroaches in that hotel. Like shoes.
Okay, but I
were
also
flying.
don't like cockroach. I mean, apparently, I just watched this bug documentary thing, and bugs obviously are really important and like literally. Every time
Yeah,
I
'cause
learn
they're
something, I'm
fun.
like, no, like literally. Look, Amy Scobie, literally one fell on top of my face in the middle of the night. No. That is so, Amy, or the thing when you pick up your glass of water or something and you go to
And-
sip and you feel the bump on the lip.
Or touch it.
Or
You're so
fly or
tired and
something.
it touches your tongue or something. It's all.
No, I can't. No.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
we're going to change the subject.
Okay, good. So
Gross.
yes, I'm totally down. I would go to Clearwater. I know we have quite a few people in Clearwater. I know it wouldn't. We would definitely have Mr. Aaron.
Yeah, sorry, I laughed at Jane's joke. She said, that's the governor on your cheek, Liz. LOL.
I got it.
Like,
Um,
oh my gosh.
but yeah, I would definitely do that, and I will be loud, and I will probably come home with no voice, because, although I did not work at Clearwater, they definitely covered up quite a lot of abuses there.
Yeah. Not even covering it up, but continuing to groom and form the people that are there and the minors that all this is normal. As we were younger children, seeing other adults normalize that have children. For example, Barbara Tompkins and Ann Weber, they were good parents, I thought, in my eyes. Like they did whatever they were doing. Now it's hard for me to even say that because I see a whole different view. But I do understand this. Whatever love we did get sort of was meaningful in whatever the best way they could be, I guess.
Yeah.
But so seeing the connection of all that and them having children and normalizing all this behavior, or even when I have said this so many times about the spanking things and then finally telling my mom and having that whole like panic attack breakdown and then her coming back saying like, have you seen the policy letter? It's just like, it just kind of is like, okay, well, I guess if the group and the policy says this, then it's all normalized and it's okay. It's fine. Or not fine. I have to just
You'd have to take
figure
it.
out what I'm doing that I'm deserving. Like, why don't we just not get you spankings at all? So my mom's outcome was messed up, but in a way, it was also whatever she could do. And it was, well, how can we get you to stop getting the spankings so that she didn't have to argue with the policy? And then she would just say, you know, what are you arguing with Renee Berther about? Or, you know, God, don't send me down that hole, guys. I just remembered all the reasons I was getting spankings, and that's a
Yeah, me
no-no for
too.
me right now.
I'm
No
all-
more exhaustion.
Yeah, here we go. Here's one.
Oh, Miranda Brinker, OMG, Lara, your conversation with Mike was a roller coaster of emotions. Yeah, talk about that. I literally was like, I must have looked like a psycho because I was like laughing at points and feeling like close with him. It was so weird. And then like also feeling like, oh my God, I'm not even like at letting him sort of apologize, but I kept sort of not cutting him off. He already prepared him for that before the chat. He knew that. Everybody knows that. Okay. So I'm going to jump in with like my thoughts and cause I feel like doing that, it heals and gets the things out that sometimes I hate getting off a stream being like, I didn't even ask any of these questions. So like, it was good that I was able to run through these questions. And then on another thing, I feel like we'll do another chat where I have so many more other questions and things to talk about. So, to hear him apologize and do that when he's already apologized to me directly and stuff like that, I kind of already had not forgiven him. I don't know if that's like the thing. It just sort of healed. The understanding of it now felt healed. Like it felt, and maybe not thoroughly. There's definitely, I get these little like, oh yeah, I remember this thing. So we're going to do another talk, but it was a roller coaster of emotions. All of this is. So we're really loving that you guys are here. Miranda was
Absolutely.
checking in on me. She's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Driving around with no glasses and everything looked foggy. But I was gonna find the goldenrod. It can't be that hard
I
to
was like,
find in Los
hey,
Angeles.
you know that? Yeah. I ain't changing no outfits. No outfit change until the day's over.
That's right. But I know you're busy. I don't know if you want to continue or
You
what.
look exhausted, baby. Let's go to sleep.
I am totally down to go to sleep. So I want to say thank you, everybody. Please smash the subscribe, hit the like. Everybody knows, follow Lara FM. Please remember, everybody, be nice to everyone in the comments. We are all human.
Yes.
And until we talk again.
I may be an alien.
No, still human. Talk to you all later.